I'm writing this now because I'm trying to make sense of what happened. My name is Dave. I'm 32, married to Rachel, and we've been together for 6 years. We don't have any kids yet, but we've talked about it. Rachel's a fantastic wife. Supportive, funny, loving, and I never had a reason to doubt her. Not even once. Our marriage has been good. Really good. But things started to change a few months ago, and I don't know how to process any of it. Rachel began going on these weekend trips with her girls group, a bunch of women from work. She'd mentioned they were going to a spa resort for a weekend getaway. Now, I'm not one to keep tabs on my wife, but I started to notice little things. She'd be gone longer than expected. Texts became a bit too casual, and when I would try to have a moment with her, she'd be distant. The usual flirtatious glances she'd give me were gone. But I told myself, maybe I'm overthinking it. One afternoon, I was scrolling through TikTok when a video popped up on my feed. I wasn't expecting anything life-changing, just a distraction from the chaos of work. And then there it was. The video was posted by a random account, but there, standing with her arm around another guy, was Rachel. It wasn't just any guy. He was in the same pictures Rachel had been posting with her girls over the past few months. This man wasn't just a stranger or someone from the trip, he was way too comfortable with her. They were laughing, leaning into each other, and she was holding on to him as if it were no big deal. It looked like a moment that shouldn't have been captured on camera. I felt my heart stop. I replayed the video, and again, and again. Couldn't believe it. This wasn't just some innocent girls' weekend. Rachel had lied. This wasn't just a casual friendship. Something about the way she was with him told me it was more than what she had been telling me. My wife, my partner, had gone away to a spa, and she was with another man. The pain hit like a freight train. I don't know how long I stared at that video. I couldn't look away, but every second felt like a punch to the gut. I should have felt relieved, like I'd finally uncovered the truth, but all I felt was nauseous, betrayed. How long had this been going on? How could she hide this from me? The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. How dare she? How could she do this to us? To me? I wanted answers, and I wanted them now. I didn't know what to do with myself. I couldn't sit still. I grabbed my phone and called her. It went straight to voicemail. Of course it did. She was probably out there with him, laughing and pretending everything was fine. That was the moment I knew. She had lied to my face. I called her again. This time, I sent a message. "Where are you? I need to talk." She replied almost immediately, "Sorry, I'm just out with the girls." What's up? I was losing it. My hands were shaking. I decided to drive to the resort. I couldn't just sit here anymore, wondering. I had to see it with my own eyes. I had to know. The drive was a blur. Every mile felt like an eternity. My heart thumping harder with each passing minute. What would I say? How would I confront her? Part of me didn't even want to believe what I saw in that video. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe I was wrong. But I couldn't shake the image of her laughing in that man's arms. The way she touched him so comfortably. I had to know if it was real. When I pulled into the resort parking lot, my stomach was in knots. I sat in the car for a while, staring at the front doors, trying to muster the courage to go inside. I thought about the last few months, how distant she had become, how she'd always been too tired when I tried to get close. She didn't even kiss me goodbye that morning before she left for the trip. The signs had been there, but I ignored them, hoping I was just being paranoid. Finally, I couldn't sit there any longer. I walked inside. My pulse was racing. I could barely breathe as I approached the check-in desk. "Can I help you?" the receptionist asked, looking at me with a faint smile. "I'm here to see Rachel. Rachel Harper," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She hesitated, then typed something into the computer. "I'm sorry, sir. She's staying with a group of—" "I know where she is." I cut her off. "I need to see her now." I didn't wait for another word. I turned and made my way through the lobby, past the glass doors leading to the pool area. And there, in the back corner, I saw them. Rachel, laughing. Her hand was on his shoulder, and the way he looked at her, it was all wrong. He was the reason my wife had been distant. He was the reason everything felt off. I could see it in the way they were standing too close, in the way they shared a joke that only the two of them understood. It made me sick. I couldn't keep it together any longer. I stormed toward them. "Rachel!" I shouted, and the sound of my voice felt like it came from someone else. A stranger, not the man she married. She froze, her face going pale when she saw me. Her eyes darted to the man beside her, then back to me. He stood there, looking entirely too calm for what was happening. What are you doing here?" she stammered, trying to compose herself. I couldn't even look at her. I looked right at him instead. "Who is this?" The man didn't hesitate. He extended his hand, a smug smile on his face. "I'm Chris. We've met a few times before, haven't we?" I blinked, my mind reeling. I knew him. He was the guy she'd always gone out with for work stuff. But I never suspected this. I had trusted her. I'd never questioned her. And now, here they were, together. Rachel's voice trembled. "It's not what you think. Don't lie to me." I cut her off, my voice barely contained. "I saw the video, Rachel. You think I didn't see the way you were with him?" Her face crumpled. "Please, Dave, just listen." "Listen to what?" I felt my body shaking with fury. "How long, Rachel? How long have you been lying to me? To us?" Chris, standing behind her like some kind of protector, looked at me with a mix of indifference and smugness. "You know, man, sometimes things change. Life's complicated." I turned back to Rachel, my voice breaking. "How could you do this? How could you betray me like this?" The words felt like they were being ripped out of me, each one harder than the last. Rachel's eyes filled with tears.
I'm sorry.
I never meant for it to go this far. It just happened." Her words felt hollow, empty. I couldn't listen anymore. The truth was clear, right in front of me. I took one last look at her, at them, and walked away. I couldn't stay in that house anymore. The life Rachel and I built? Gone. I packed up my things, grabbed a few essentials, and left without saying a word. There was nothing to say. She called, texted, begged for a chance to explain. But I didn't want to hear it. Her apologies? Empty. I couldn't forgive her. Not after everything I saw, after everything she did. I left, just like that, and I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. 2 days later, I get a message from Rachel. But it wasn't from her, it was from Chris. "She's leaving you for me, man. Don't waste your time. You never truly had her. You were just the fallback." I read those words over and over, unable to comprehend. I went numb. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Rachel, the woman I thought I knew, had been planning to leave me the entire time. And he knew it before I did. I drove to her apartment, not knowing what I'd find. But when I walked in, the sight shattered me. Rachel and Chris, sitting there together, smiling. "Dave, it's over," Rachel said, her voice calm, almost relieved. "You were never the one. I'm with him now." The world stopped spinning. In that moment I realized I wasn't just betrayed. I was replaced. And the worst part? I hadn't even seen it coming. I turned and walked out. And this time I didn't look back.